Hello, Soccer Spirits community. The new Ardor legend Mirae has been released, and in this video I will talk about her skills, stone options, player pairings, and how I think she will play out in the current game state. To start, Mirae is a designated goalkeeper player. Her first passive recovers 15% of her max HP and increases her own crit resistance by 50 and reflex by 100% when an ally in position attacks or is attacked. The recovery here is based on her max HP and not missing HP, so it is a consistent 15% heal with every trigger, which is pretty nice. Her second passive is a position totem, granting 35% DR and 40% to both HP and defense as long as she is placed in the goalkeeper position. Her third passive is a debuff on all enemies, striker, and assists on the team, reducing their pen by 15% and crit rate and speed both by 20% for 10 minutes when an enemy in position makes 2 actions. Overall, this GK is mostly crit res and HP focus with limited DR and pen modifiers. But what makes her stand out is really the active skill she has, which is a ball possession skill kind of like Tiffin. On a 5-minute cooldown, she can use this active, which allows her to take possession of the ball whenever an enemy in position makes a pass, and she heals for 50% of her lost HP while doing it. A couple of things to note about this is that this skill gives her possession of the ball even if the enemy in position makes an active pass. After she takes possession of the ball, with the skill, she maintains the same action bar as when she took possession of the ball, so she doesn't gain 100% AV after taking possession. Her passive skills alone here are not incredibly impressive for a crit res build GK, so this active skill will really play a major role in her survivability. Since Mirae really plays like a high HP crit res with HP recovery, you want to build on those strengths. If you have the ability to do so, you should really go full critical resistance, and it may be good to reroll a red slot for a green slot so you can play the best in slot critical resistance, unique stone, Protection of Mother Earth plus Heart of Minerva, as this does maximize her critical resistance and grant her some additional damage resistance with it. Pair it up along with some red reflex, blue defense crit res stones, and another crit res stone in the prism slot. Alternatively, if you do not reroll for green and want to keep her slots the same way as they are, maybe use an auxiliary operation unit or stars tiers and with a Heart of Minerva sub on the blue slot and go for red DR, red reflex, and a dark HP or crit res stone on the prism. This does, however, offer quite a bit less critical resistance, but will grant you either more HP or slightly better HP recovery in exchange. Her kit has quite a bit of focus on HP recovery, which is a little bit awkward in PvP because of the weather effects that immediately cut HP recovery by half and continue to reduce recovery effects the longer the match plays out. Her skills alone do not offer a huge amount of survivability. Passives alone, she only has an effective crit res of 70, which is not incredibly high, hence she will need a lot of help from other sources to ensure that she does not get hit with a crit, as those shots can be devastating. She has, however, a very interesting active skill and should be the centerpiece of her play. For that reason, I believe you want to play a very reactive backline, focusing on backline players that increase HP, critical resistance, defense, and even speed. Examples of very good pairings for her include Milky Yoon, Chundo, Schneeros, and Periodot, since they all play very well with her kit of increasing HP and interacting with crit rate and speed within the position. Where I think she may have trouble in the existing state of the game is against very strong one-hit KO strikers or very strong and heavy strikers like Mirage, and even long-range strikers. as she does not have much capability to stop a very fast and immediate heavy shot like a one-hit KO, and her key active skill does not really tailor to how long-range shooters play. Overall, I anticipate she can be a very solid crit res GK if you have good backline support and proper stones in her stone slots. Using her active, you can add quite a bit of variability on how the match plays out. Among the crit res GKs, I would say her sustainability is likely in between Rafaela and Kirina in the existing state. After playing around with her for quite a bit, I'm personally not a super strong advocate of this GK, especially if you are unable to make super effective use of the active skill. GKs like Pretzi, Jin, or even Ian after the recent buff can offer quite a bit more consistent survivability with a greater range of options for defenders. If you do, however, get her though, the active is extremely fun to use and watch, and in situations like PvP live play, where you can pen with her and hold the ball in the back line and determine when to use the active, she can offer a brand new twist to the match that the opponent may not see coming. If you found the video enjoyable, be sure to drop a like and subscribe for future content from me, Lasti.